Hi, I'm Adhara. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. One click from you means more stories can be shared. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers and make a difference. Let's begin. It was December 23rd when my life took an unexpected turn. I was 22, had just graduated college, and was staying with my dad while looking for a job in my field. The economy wasn't great, and I'd been there for 3 months longer than planned, but I was contributing to bills and keeping the house clean. Adhara, we need to talk, Dad said, leaning against my doorframe that evening, Shannon hovering behind him. Shannon was his girlfriend of 8 months. She was nice enough at first, but things had gotten tense since Thanksgiving when she started bringing her kids around more. What's up? I asked, looking up from my laptop where I'd been sending out job applications. Shannon's lease is up at the end of the month, and she and the kids are moving in. Oh, that's sudden, I said, trying to sound supportive. When? Tomorrow, Shannon interjected, stepping forward. The movers are coming at 9. Tomorrow? Christmas Eve? I closed my laptop. Wow. Okay, so I guess I'll be sharing the bathroom with Lily and Jake now? Dad and Shannon exchanged looks. Actually, honey, Dad said, not meeting my eyes. We need your room, for the kids. I blinked. My room? Where am I supposed to sleep? Well, that's what we need to discuss, Dad said, clearing his throat. Shannon's kids need their own spaces. Jake's 13, Lily's 15, they can't share. And you're an adult? Shannon added helpfully, with a college degree. So, what? The couch? I asked, my stomach tightening. Dad shook his head. The living room is too small for the new sectional Shannon's bringing. Then where? We think it's time you got your own place, Dad said quickly. You've been talking about it anyway, right? Eventually, Dad, but I don't have a job yet, or savings for deposits, you know this. Your Aunt Maggie has that rental, Shannon suggested. I'm sure she'd give you a deal. Aunt Maggie lives 3 hours away. All my interviews are here. Dad sighed. Look, I'm sorry about the timing, but Shannon's lease is up and the kids need stability. They're going through a lot with the move and changing schools. And I'm not? I felt my voice rising. Dad, it's Christmas Eve tomorrow. Where am I supposed to go? Maybe your mom's? Shannon suggested. My jaw dropped. My mom died when I was 12. You know that. Shannon had the decency to look embarrassed, but Dad just rubbed his neck awkwardly. What about Tessa? He said, naming my best friend. Just until after the holidays? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So I need to be out. When exactly? Tomorrow morning, Shannon said firmly, before the movers arrive. It would be confusing for the kids otherwise. Confusing for them? I laughed incredulously. Dad, this is my home too. It's my house, he corrected. And I need to do what's best for everyone. Everyone except me, apparently, I whispered. Don't be dramatic, Shannon said. You're an adult. The kids need stability. I need to be alone, I said, standing up. Please leave my room, that I apparently have about 12 more hours in. Dad hesitated. Adhara, just go, Dad. I need to make some calls. After they left, I called Tessa. He's doing what? Tessa practically screamed through the phone. Kicking me out. Tomorrow. For Shannon's kids. On Christmas Eve? Is he insane? Tell me you're kidding. Wish I was, I said, fighting tears. Can I crash with you? Just until I figure something out? Of course you can. My mom will be thrilled to have you for Christmas. But Adhara, you can't let him do this to you. What choice do I have? It's his house. It's your home, and there are laws about eviction, you know. The next morning, I woke to knocking on my door. Adhara? It was Shannon. The movers will be here in an hour. I hadn't slept much. I'll be out. We need to discuss what furniture stays, she continued through the door. The kids need the desk and bookshelf. I swung the door open. Those are mine. I bought them. Shannon blinked, surprised by my directness. Oh, well, we don't have space to store them elsewhere. I'm taking them to Tessa's. Her parents have a garage. But the kids can use something else. These are mine. Dad appeared in the hallway. Everything okay? Adhara's being difficult about the furniture, Shannon reported. I'm being difficult. I laughed. Dad, you're kicking me out with less than a day's notice on Christmas Eve, and now you want my furniture too? 2 hours later, Tessa's dad, Rick, arrived with his pickup truck. We loaded my belongings, and I went back inside for my final suitcase. In the living room, I found Dad looking lost among boxes of Shannon's things. The Christmas tree we decorated together was partially disassembled. I'm leaving now, I said coldly. Adhara, I know this isn't ideal. Ideal? Dad, you chose your girlfriend's kids over your own daughter. On Christmas. It's not like that. You're an adult and they're still what? More important? Save it. I picked up my suitcase. Merry Christmas. You're still coming tomorrow, right? He asked, looking surprised. For dinner? I stared at him in disbelief. Are you serious? Where would I sit? In the garage? Don't be like that, he said, frowning. Shannon's making her special ham. I'm spending Christmas with people who actually want me around. Goodbye, Dad. A week later, I met Tessa's cousin Zach at a coffee shop. So your father gave you no written notice? He asked, taking notes. None. Just told me the night before. And you've lived there how long? My whole life, except for college. But continuously for the past 4 months. Zach nodded. You're a legal tenant, Adhara, even without paying rent. He needed to give you proper notice. 30 days in our state. What does that mean now? It means you could demand to move back in until he provides proper notice. The thought of returning to that house made my stomach turn. I don't want to go back. There are other options. We could file for a legal eviction. You'd be entitled to damages. I don't know, Zach. He's still my dad. 2 days later, I had a job interview at a marketing firm. To my surprise, the interviewer was Vivian, Shannon's sister. Adhara, she said, recognizing me. I didn't realize you were the applicant. I can reschedule with someone else if this is uncomfortable, I offered. No, she smiled. I've been wanting to meet you properly. Shannon has mentioned you. I'm sure she has, I said neutrally. The interview went well, and afterward, Vivian said, Off the record, I'm sorry about what happened. Shannon told me they asked you to move out, but I didn't know it was so abrupt. On Christmas Eve, I added, with no notice. Vivian winced. That's not how she presented it. I'm not surprised. For what it's worth, I think it was wrong. Shannon can be focused on her kids to the exclusion of everything else. And my dad just went along with it. A week later, Vivian and I met at a cafe. I got the job, I told her, smiling. Congratulations. You were the most qualified candidate, family drama aside. Thank you for not holding that against me. Actually, Vivian said, I wanted to talk to you about that. Shannon's been saying some things about you that don't add up. Like what? That you refused to get a job. That you were hostile to her kids. That you expected your dad to support you indefinitely. I nearly choked on my coffee. None of that is true. I've been job hunting since graduation. I barely met her kids, and I was paying for utilities and groceries. I thought as much, Vivian nodded. Shannon has a habit of rewriting history to make herself the hero. And my dad is just backing her up? He might not know what she's saying. Shannon has our family convinced you're some entitled brat who refused to leave the nest. One evening, I received a call from a number I didn't recognize. Is this Adhara? A woman's voice asked. Yes. Who's this? I'm Melanie, Shannon's ex-sister-in-law, the kid's aunt. Okay. How did you get my number? Vivian gave it to me. We need to talk about Shannon and your dad. We met at a restaurant the next day. Melanie was in her 40s, sharply dressed and straight to the point. Shannon has a pattern, she said after we ordered. She finds financially stable single parents, moves in, and takes over. What do you mean? My brother was her second husband. She did the same thing to his daughter from his first marriage, gradually pushed her out to make room for her own kids. I felt a chill. What happened? My niece, His daughter ended up living with me. Shannon convinced my brother she was a troublemaker who needed tough love. Eventually, she cut him off from his family completely. When they divorced, she took everything. Why are you telling me this? Because Vivian said you're fighting back, and I want to help. Shannon's toxic, and she's isolating your father just like she did my brother. What can we even do? We can make sure everyone knows exactly who Shannon is and what she did to you. The plan was simple but effective. Melanie arranged a family dinner at her house and invited Shannon's entire family, her parents, siblings, and adult nieces and nephews, along with my dad. She also invited me without telling Shannon. When I arrived, Shannon's face went white. "What's she doing here?" she hissed to Dad. "I invited her," Melanie said smoothly. "Family dinner should include all family, right?" Throughout dinner, conversation was strained. Finally, Melanie stood up. "I want to propose a toast," she announced. "To family and truth." "Hear, hear," said Shannon's father, raising his glass. "The truth," Melanie continued, "is something Shannon has trouble with." The room went silent. "What are you talking about?" Shannon demanded. "I'm talking about how you told your family that Adhara refused to move out, when actually, you and her father gave her less than 24 hours' notice, on Christmas Eve." Shannon's mother gasped. "Is that true?" "Of course not," Shannon began, but Melanie wasn't finished. "Just like you told my brother that his daughter was disrespectful and needed discipline, when really you just wanted her bedroom for your kids. That was different," Shannon protested. "Was it?" I asked quietly. "Because it sounds exactly like what you did to me." Dad looked confused. "Shannon told me you were fine with moving out, that you two had discussed it weeks before." "What? Dad, no! The first I heard about it was the night before Christmas Eve. But she said—" Dad stopped, looking at Shannon. "You said you'd spoken to her." Shannon squirmed. "I meant to. Things got busy with the move." "You lied to me?" Dad asked. "I was trying to make things easier for everyone," Shannon insisted. "Easier for who?" Vivian interjected. "Shannon, you've been telling everyone Adhara was a lazy freeloader. I hired her at my company. She's hardworking and qualified." "And she's not the only one Shannon has done this to," Melanie added. "Ask her why she and my brother really divorced." Shannon stood up abruptly. "This is ridiculous. You're all ganging up on me." "No," said Shannon's father, looking troubled. "We're just hearing some disturbing things. Is this true, Shannon? Did you kick this young lady out on Christmas Eve?" "It wasn't like that," Shannon insisted. "Then what was it like?" I asked. Because from where I was standing, it was exactly like that. "Robert," Shannon turned to my dad, "are you going to let them attack me like this?" Dad looked between Shannon and me, clearly struggling. I don't know what to believe." "Believe your daughter," Shannon's mother said firmly. "The one you've known her entire life." 2 days later, Dad showed up at my apartment. "Can we talk?" he asked, looking haggard. "Come in," I said coolly. "Shannon and I broke up," he said without preamble. "I'm sorry," I said automatically, though I wasn't. "Don't be." After that dinner, I started asking questions, checking her stories against what really happened. He shook his head. "She lied about so many things, Adhara, not just about you." "Like what?" "Like her abusive ex-husband who wouldn't pay child support." I called him. He has full documentation of every payment, plus court records of Shannon denying him visitation. I nodded slowly. "Melanie tried to warn you." "I know. I should have listened." Dad looked at me pleadingly. "I should have listened to you. My own daughter." "Yes, you should have." "I'm so sorry, Adhara. What I did was unforgivable." "It was. I want to make it up to you. The house, your room, it's yours if you want to come back." I shook my head. "No, Dad. I have my own place now. My own life. Please, Adhara. I miss you." "You should have thought of that before you chose her over me. I made a terrible mistake." "Yes, you did. And I'm not ready to forgive you." 6 months later, Dad was still trying to rebuild our relationship. Shannon had moved on to another single dad, but her family kept in touch with me. Vivian had become a mentor at work, and Melanie occasionally invited me to family events. Dad sold the house and bought a condo with a guest room he pointedly referred to as Adhara's room whenever I visited, which wasn't often. "I saved you some leftover birthday cake," Dad said during one such visit, sliding a plate toward me. He'd celebrated his 50th the day before. I hadn't attended. "Thanks," I said, taking a small bite. "Adhara, it's been months. How long are you going to punish me?" "I'm not punishing you, Dad. I'm protecting myself." "From me? Your father? From someone who threw me away when something better came along?" Dad winced. "That's not fair." "Isn't it? You chose Shannon and her kids over me without a second thought. I made a mistake. A terrible mistake that I regret every day. Sorry doesn't erase what happened. Then what will? Tell me, Adhara. What do I need to do to get my daughter back?" I looked at him, really looked at him. He'd aged years and months, lost weight. There were new lines around his eyes. "I don't know, Dad," I said honestly. "I don't know if you can." As I left that day, I wondered if I was being too harsh. Then I remembered packing my life into boxes on Christmas Eve, and my resolve strengthened. Some betrayals cut too deep for simple forgiveness. Dad would have to live with the consequences of his choice, just as I had. And if that meant our relationship was forever changed, well, he should have thought of that before he kicked me out for Shannon's kids. Do you think there are some family betrayals too severe to ever forgive completely? Or should family always get a second chance no matter what they've done?